What else did I get from this? What I didn't expect? A six pack at 45 years old. A six pack at 45 years old is something I didn't expect. I've had many questions of mates saying, Jim, what's your secret? What have you done? How did you start? A sub 20-minute 5K in 44, 45 years old. I'm pulling 30 kilograms on a weighted pull up. I'm dipping 50 to 55 kilograms on a weighted dip.
If I told you then that you would be training for an ultra marathon and you would be sub 10% body fat, what would you have thought?
I would have thought you were some sort of fake business developer, mate, some fake salesman. I'd be like, no, there's no way. There's no end here, mate. This is you now. If you want to take this on right now, this is going to be you for the rest of your life.
Well, that's just the way it transpires, isn't it? Because,
yeah,
like for you, we started off with 3 months and 6 months, and here we are 18 months, 2 years later, and where does it stop?
It doesn't.
So I am joined by Jim Mackie. Jim is a military officer. He served 28 years in the British Army, Royal Corps of Signals. He's a late entry commissioned officer, now with the rank of captain. Airborne soldier, high performer on all levels, and he's currently been working with me inside Empowered Man. I think it's for about 18 months. Is that right, Jim?
That's right, yeah. It's been just over 18 months now, so quite a big journey, really, from the beginning. But yeah, we're well worth it. Well worth it.
Yeah, good stuff. So before we talk about where you were 18 months ago before you joined the coaching, what I would like to talk about is to go back a little bit further than that. Let's go back to young Jim. You obviously joined the army at a pretty young age. Tell us a little bit about young Jim, what sort of shaped you, fitness level, standards, discipline, and everything that's sort of formed you in that sort of early part of your career.
Well, young Jim, went into the Army Careers Office. I was like, 54 kilograms wet through. So I was like completely quite small, thin, skinny. I was always a good runner. I've always been a good runner. But to be honest, I've never really been very bulky or strong, I don't think. So that was probably always a goal for me, is see where I could go with that. I always had this idea I wanted to sort of push the limits, specialize within the Royal Corps Signals, and that's and the journey to that, that wasn't just something you can just jump into. You need to build up a base foundation of fitness before you can volunteer for that type of thing. So for me, it's like I knew when I first turned up at my working unit that I was above average fitness amongst the other people there. So it's like, what can I do? And people did sort of recommend me and guide me down certain routes. So, for instance, boxing was played a huge part of my career, my early career, and I think that's where it really started for me, was boxing training. That self-discipline, that getting up really early in the morning, the running, the sparring, the circuit training, that type of stuff made a huge difference. And I did have quite a few years, actually, and I had a few fights in the army. That, for me, set me on the path, I would say, towards being a physical training instructor in different units. I worked in a gym in a couple of units. Again, that helped me, again, use the training I've had in through boxing and my sort of thirst for fitness, my passion for fitness, is to pass that on to the other people who I was serving with, my friends, colleagues. And yeah, going on from there, I was like, what's next? What can I do next within my career? And it was like, right, okay, let's go for it. Let's go for Airborne Forces. Let's do P Company, Pegasus Company, and let's get myself through that. And that's something that was really hard. And I was the smallest guy on the course. Those types of courses, they have a low pass rate. You get thrashed for quite a long time. Lots of physical testing, and that for me was a real goal for me, and cemented me in my career as an airborne soldier. And going on from there only set me up well, because I had that now inside me going forward. promotions, that self-discipline, that motivation, determination that's instilled in you with anything you do going forward, and helped me shape my career out to where I am now. You know, commissioning was an amazing goal. There's not many people that actually get to the point of even just warrant officer in the army, let alone going for late entry. So I'm actually quite proud of myself for the fact I've got to that point
Yeah.
of warrant officer, and then I've got through the commissioning, and now I'm here serving as a captain in a leadership role. You know, as a role model, and providing guidance, stability, direction for the people below me, for my subordinates, which is fantastic. And that also leads me on to like a point a few years ago where I talk about all that, but then I had also let myself go. I'd let myself go. I'd let the busy life of a warrant officer and officer, where you become more sedentary, you become more desk bound. That's just the nature of the job role.
Yeah.
And I
So
didn't realize
obviously,
actually,
we
yeah,
spoke about a lot of things there. I'm just going to sort of summarize some of that. So, physical training instructor, airborne soldier, achieved the rank of late entry commission, 27, 28 years after being a warrant officer. You know, we talk about sort of high level achievers. I think it's fair to say that would probably put you in the top 1%, if not the top, I don't know, maybe it's fair to say 0.1% of people within the military, right? Just for everything that you've achieved.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
definitely, yeah.
obviously along the way, set yourself some pretty high standards, and some pretty sort of solid values and sort of morals that you live by. So having achieved that level of success over a number of years, you're now talking about maybe letting some of those standards slip and drift after getting to a certain role.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's a bit of a wake up call. I had a bit of a sedentary role. Work was getting on top of me. I wasn't as good at that point of managing my workload, prioritizing, balancing it across work life and physical training. And I let it get a hold of me, I think, is what happened. And looking myself in the mirror really, and realizing that this isn't me. This wasn't the guy that set himself the standards. This wasn't the guy that I was just becoming a below average Joe. And I just didn't really want to be there. I thought, right now, I need to do something about this. Um, and I've been a physical training instructor. I know what I need to do in the gym a lot of the time. It wasn't just, you could chat GPT a program. You could go on AI these days. Even back then, you could get a program from anywhere. You could write your own program, but it requires a hell of a lot to just to go alone. So, and I knew that yourself, Rob, the business you're in and what you're doing, and I've worked with you before, and it's like, right, okay, I just need this extra push. I want this extra guidance, extra push. I've got to live a busy life. I want somebody who can look from an outside perspective, look in at me, look at my lifestyle, and go, Jim, this is what you need to do. And that was completely what I needed to do. So yeah, I got in touch with Rob and I go, right, this is what I look like now. This is what I want to look like. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. When can we start?
Yeah. So rewinding back to then sort of 18 months ago when you did reach out to me, obviously I think, you said having the knowledge and the experience that you've got in fitness, being able to write your own programs, being able to get programs off ChatGPT or Google or however that may look like. More than that, it was help finding somebody that could help direct you, and take a bit more of a bird's eye view of your whole life as a
Mm.
whole. Somebody that lives a pretty demanding or leads a pretty demanding career, is a family man, you're a father, travel a lot for work, looking at some of those exterior things that create obstacles and prevent you from doing the things that you actually know to do,
Mm.
but are not doing them right.
Yeah, I think going to the point of like, why did I want to do this? But it wasn't just a point of like looking in the mirror for me. It was like I don't look great, obviously at that time. It was like I've got a young son, you know. I'm not a young dad, you know. We chose to have a child later on, and so I'm a 37. I was a 37-year-old dad, and my boy when I got in touch, he was 6 years old, so he's very demanding. You know, as a toddler, growing older, my son William has been very demanding and very active boy, which is great. I love that, but I've got to keep up with that. You know, I've got to keep up with my boy William. It's really important for me. I can't just be sorry. I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I can't play with you today, William. No, I can't have that. Absolutely no. That's not the answer. So I need to be active with him. I needed to be body confident. That's
Yeah,
something I wasn't at the time. Didn't want to take the top off. You know, so this was like I've got to change this. You know, I love the beach. I love the hot weather. I want to be able to take the top off, and I just did not feel confident. I got to a point where holy, I'm not. I don't even want to take the top off. This is bad. And the other thing comes back to my what I'd set myself in the past and the standards that I'd met in the past was like, do you know what? I wear those parachute wings, and I'm in the army. I'm an officer. I need to be representable. I think we spoke about this pre as old. I need to be representable to what I do. There's an obligation there, and that's key for me inside. Is like I can't allow me to be not representable to my organisation. So also keen to get back into fitness, get back to the fitness I was in my early years. You know, age, you know, doesn't matter. I think you can still get back, and I am right now. I am at the fitness I was in my 20s, which is crazy, but I am right there right now. And I want to talk, Rob, I just want to talk about a couple other reasons why as well, mate. And you know, one main thing is injury prevention. As you get older, people know this. They should know this. You know, as you get older, you start becoming more susceptible to injury.
yeah,
Um, by strengthening my body, getting fit, that's injury prevention. That's just one of the main secrets of injury prevention. Yeah, there is an element of genetics involved, but actually, you can be in control of that. The better, the more stronger you are, the more prepared your body is for everyday life, the less chance of injury you're going to have, which is absolutely true. I got injured back in 2018. I think it was, caught a really bad back injury. It took me like 6 to 12 months to get back in the game. I did not want to go down that route again. And you know what? I've not been injured for years. I've not
yeah,
been properly injured for years, which is fantastic. I want to keep it that way.
yeah,
Final point on this, Rob, is reasons why people should look at this is guys in their 40s, right? I'll talk about guys here, guys, right? Guys in their 40s, because I work a lot with a male environment. Blokes, most of my colleagues are in their 40s. Disease prevention, sickness and disease prevention. I've had three mates who have had cancer in the last 5 years, and that's a hard hitter. And we talk about this, me and my mates. You've got to be, you know, and then there's things that you can't control there, but there are points you can, right? You can reduce that probability right down. And I believe if you stay fit, healthy, strong, you can prevent disease. I've had also a friend of mine recently has had a stroke. That's not fantastic in his 40s. And some of these guys, yeah, you know what? They've been sucked into work. They've maybe let themselves go a bit, and yeah, life's got a hold of them. And personally, I felt like I can't let that happen, and that was that should be right. Life extension, disease
yeah,
prevention should be one of the main reasons why people should jump on this.
yeah.
Right, so that was it for me, mate.
So, I mean, we're talking about disease prevention, life extension, preventing injury, creating a strong, resilient body. All very, very important things as we get older into our 40s, 50s, and beyond. So great to hear some of those benefits. For you personally, from a physical aspect, what are some of the biggest changes you saw within your body?
Yeah, I think firstly what I noticed was energy levels. Uh, when you did tell me don't worry, this will be hard, you know. And initially to start off with, it was hard. It was physically tiring, but eventually as we got on, I got more energy. there's more energy there. Even though I was using up energy, there was more energy to not just to get up out of bed and do the next session, but energy in life, energy to go to work, energy um, less tired. Because what I did find when before I started this, I was fatigued, I was tired, things were getting me down a bit more. Now I noticed that I was more prepared, I was less tired, I had more energy, and that's a lot of things that come with that. It's not just the training, it's the food, it's the sleep, but that was a real key thing for me, was the amount of energy I had to get at life. Go back to sickness. It's a real benefit here. I have not been sick like much at all, if anything, in the last 2 years. I used to Before this, I used to like regularly get sick, and most people I know get sick. Colds, coughs, flu, that type of stuff. Not been hitting me, not been getting at me. So that was something I noticed, which was a real thing I didn't expect, was the fact that my immune system was getting really better, right? Obviously, you get more attention. People asking you questions. They notice your changes in your body and yourself and your attitude and stuff. And that's quite. Didn't expect that as much. I guess it was like, look at Jim. What's Jim doing? What's wrong with Jim? Is Jim having a midlife crisis? Like, no. Maybe to a certain extent. I wouldn't call it a crisis. Let's change that word.
Rebirth.
Let's talk it a rebirth and realization. And some of the years in my 40s.
What was the reason they were asking those sorts of questions?
Because I think there's probably some stigma attached to like somebody who wants to get at things in their 40s, whether that's sport, whether that's training, whether that's the look. People look at that and just straight away brand it as a midlife crisis. Probably a little bit of, insecurity amongst themselves. If I'm going to come back at that, it's like, yeah, probably a little bit of insecurity. An easy way to frame it if somebody's doing something radical later on in their years out of their normal routine. But do you know what? My thing was like, well, no, this is not midlife. This is now going to continue for the rest of my life. This isn't just some short-term decision. This is part of me. So whatever you've noticed is going to continue for the long term.
So even though you're in that sort of environment, you are still the anomaly, because you're the guy that's taking care of himself. You're the guy that's training. You're the guy that's going home early. You're making good decisions with your food. You're showing up with energy. But you're the rarity. You're the odd one out.
Yeah, I'm the lunatic that's going to bed at 10 o'clock, getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So that's not normal. Sadly, I'm going to be honest with you, Rob. That's not a normal sort of social way of life in a military culture. Military culture has got, when it comes to like social life and drinking, it has got better. It's a great thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It's having your friends and being able to go out for a beer and socialize. You could do it in the mess, in the camp. There's the sergeant's mess, there's the officer's mess. There's always alcohol available. There's always decent food available. Nowadays, there's so much fast food and nice tasting food around. So to make that change, it's like, I'm going to reduce my alcohol intake. I'm going to go to bed at 10. Guys, I'm not coming out too late tonight. I'm going to disappear. That draws attention, but I think for the right reasons, because they'll be like, well, why is he doing that? And then they look at me 18 months down the line and they go, well, yeah, come on, look what he's done. And Jim, what have you done? I've had many questions of mates saying, Jim, what's your secret? What have you done? How did you start? And I'm happy to help them. I am honestly happy to help them and guide them. So yeah, that's it. That's a key thing. You used to ask, what did I? That was like, and what I realised what it was, because I got such into a routine of this and maintained such consistency across the program that I built a machine. I'd actually built a fat burning machine. So, and I got to the point where I could sometimes relax a little bit while I was eating, because my metabolism was so good now, and I built up a lot of muscle. less fat. So there's no, my muscles were ready. And as long as I was maintaining, being active, my muscles would just burn through anything I was eating.
Yeah.
And I've had good discussions with other people that are on the same, younger guys than me, that are on the same pathway, doing the same things, coaches doing the same things. And they said exactly the same thing. You build a machine,
You
and
build
that
your own
machine just
metabolic
becomes
engine.
really effective. Yeah, become an engine, mate, and it's really become really efficient and effective uh, at uh, at tackling the problems that you face in life, but also burning off anything you put inside your body. That's not like a clear green light to go and start binge eating and drinking. No, you still maintain a good, healthy lifestyle, but now your body's really effective. And that's took 18 months to get my body to that position.
So sub 10% body fat. I think you got down as far as 7.5% body fat, right? At 45 years old. And
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Really, it's just
what you're saying
ridiculous.
is, you've done this in a way that you feel that you can pretty much stay this way going forward, and it's sustainable for you.
Yes, going back to 7.5% body fat. Do you know what people look
Not
at
quite
that? And
7.5, but in that sort of 10,
yeah,
sub 10%.
yeah, sub 10 was like, well, I'll just, when I first went on that machine and go 7.5%, I'm like, what do I get here? And people, and I've Googled this, mate. I've done some research and they're like, this is extreme. This is athletic, extreme. You've got to be dialed in. And I'm like, well, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I was dialed in. I was consistent, but I'm not going to say I was eating broccoli every day. Just broccoli and chicken and rice every
Yeah.
day. I wasn't. I was maintaining a good balanced diet. I was eating fats. I was eating nice food now and again. I'm still getting down to this percent body fat because I created
Yeah.
that engine. But
And it
maintaining
wasn't
that going
something that
forward.
you were super analytical about, right? Because I remember the targets kept falling, right? So the first target we set
Yeah,
was, I think you started about 17 or 18%. The first target
yeah,
was 12%. And then you hit 12%, and then we wanted to get you below 10%. And that took a little bit
yeah,
of time. And then, beyond that, it wasn't something that you were super hyper focused on. It was just like, okay, a few months have gone by, let's jump on the analyzer and see what my body fat's at. And all of a sudden, you're 8%, right? It wasn't something that
yeah.
you were over scrutinizing.
No, and I was obviously away overseas with the army, and I was a bit more dialed in. My diet was probably a bit better, but I was still drinking. I was still drinking alcohol every week. I wasn't this rigid person that people think you need to be. You don't need to be 100% rigid. You can still balance it all out with your life and work and family, and you can still get down to 10%, below 10% body fat, right? So people think it's like ridiculous and unachievable. No, it's not. It's actually consistency. It's consistent. It's maintaining that status quo for as long as you possibly can. And
Yeah.
then I know I'm in this, like, well, I'm in a different goal now. We've got a different goal we're working on, which we can talk about in a bit. But it's like now it's like maintenance. Now it's like, well, I'm here where I need to be. Absolutely. There's always there's always you want to do better. You always want to look a little bit better. What can I do next? How can I do this? But actually, yeah, I'm in a very happy place as
Yeah.
to where I am right now, and it'd be a case of how do I maintain this? And I know how to maintain it. I've been doing it for 18 months, so it's yeah,
So you mentioned there we've got a new goal. Tell me more about that.
yeah. So coming back from being away, it was like right. I've been working solidly on bit of tempo running, getting my 5K down. I always wanted to. I always wanted to like. I think we set ourselves this goal, wasn't it? Rob, how do I get below a 20-minute, sub 20-minute 5K? And I actually thought at one point this is unachievable. And when I was training out there, I thought, right, okay, we can do this. And I got back, started running a bit harder, tempo runs, with the good run, the training program for running. And I did it. I got below 5K. And I went to a social event And one of the guys says to me, Jim, have you ever done an ultra marathon? I guess, well, no. You know, I haven't. You know, my endurance has always been very good. Um, I've run a couple of marathons anyway before, and I thought, you know, I wouldn't mind having an ultra under the belt. So I thought, let's do this. I thought, so yeah, I put money where the mouth is, and so right, I'm going to do this. And it's not just a standard ultra marathon. This is a mountain ultra marathon in Albania, and it's for veterans. It's for veteran charities, which I thought, you know what, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. So I signed up straight away, and I've been fundraising since. I've met my target for fundraising, and I went straight to Rob. I goes, Rob, um, I've been strength training, Rob. I want to maintain the muscle. I know what it's like for ultra endurance runners, but I want to do it all. I want to maintain the strength, and I want to do an ultra marathon.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is a challenge. And I think, you know, my fear on this, my concern was I was going to burn all my muscle away. And I probably have lost a little bit. Let's be honest. I probably have lost a little bit of shape from when I was doing pure strength training, but I haven't lost strength. That's the key thing. I've got the same strength that I had before, if not more strength. I can do more weighted pull-ups now, more weighted dips. I can bench press more and push more now, pull more than I could before, even though I'm now running long distance runs. So yeah, that new goal, mate, that's in September. I've got a couple of months to go, and I'm feeling confident that I can do this year.
So you're about 2 months out from that. That's the kind of key thing that we're working on at the moment. Obviously, trying to maintain your strength, muscle mass, injury prevention, disease prevention, all the things that we spoke about, while actually training to do a 100-kilometer run in the mountains of Albania, 50 Ks back to back on both days. Let's go back to our first phone call 18 months ago, however long it was. If I told you then that you would be training for an ultra marathon and you would be sub 10% body fat, what would you have thought?
I would have thought you were some sort of a fake business developer, mate, some fake salesman. I'd be like, no, there's no way. I'd be like, no, no way, Rob. You can't. There's no way we can get there. But here we are. And the truth is in it, mate. The truth is in the program, the consistency, and the work to get there. And yeah, ultra marathons. If you know, I'm confident I can complete it. It's hard on the body. It really is. I'm going to be honest, I don't intend on keeping this up on ultra marathons. I'm quite happy to maintain strength training maintenance because my life is busy. Training for an ultra marathon, I've got mates here that do ultra marathons. It is antisocial, even more antisocial than I was before. So it's like now I'm like, you know, with the family, even harder with the family and the work.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a short term. This is a short term thing. If you want to maintain the sort of training and ultra marathon competitions and events, I believe that becomes very challenging to balance your life and your workout with it as well. So this will be a short term thing, but it will like realize that, well, I've been managing to train for an ultra marathon and strength training. When I go back to maintain the strength and the shape, should be easier.
Yeah.
It should be easier, right? To balance it out in life.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the biggest challenges I've had throughout this role is balance. It's the balance. It's what do we call it? Called it the equilibrium across all your facets of life, your factors in life. That is the biggest challenge. And, you know, consistency, prioritization, nutrition's hard. The right gym, the right location. If you're a traveler, you work hard, that becomes even harder. But also what I didn't expect is you need to buy in. You need people's buy-in around you. You need your friends to buy in. You need your work to buy in. You need your family to buy in. Because if they're not bought into your goals, then that makes it even harder.
And how have you found that? Obviously, trying to balance a very demanding career, being a family, your fitness, somebody that travels quite extensively as well. Obviously it's been a significant challenge, but it's plain to see that you've overcome those challenges. Like if there's somebody else that was in
Yeah.
the same situation as you, and maybe they're put off from starting just because of the task of that challenge, and they're a bit put off by the
Mm.
size of that challenge, what would you say to them?
Uh, plan, and plan. I think you told me this. It's like plan ahead, plan ahead, get the buy-in, tell people what you're doing, be honest about it, be transparent, try to get them on side. Unfortunately, some people may never be on side. That's fine. Don't let that stop you from doing what you need to do. When I say make, balancing it out, there are some sacrifices. There are absolute sacrifices. You need to make sacrifices. You need to get up early, first and foremost. This doesn't. You can't just sit in bed. If you've got a busy life, busy workload, you are tend to be tired in the evenings. So for me, it was straight away. When do I train? It's early morning. So from that point on, it was like, right, I'm now an early morning person. I need to get up really early, get out of bed, plan my week, get out of bed. Am I traveling? Where am I going?
Yeah,
Can I get out? Well, when's my first meeting? When do I first clock on? Work back from that. How do I get all my training in? You start to get better at it because you work out how long does it take? Where am I? What equipment do I need? Yes, there's been times where I've got to places and there's no gymnasium, right? There's no gym, there's no facilities. You know what? Let's just do some um, self body weight exercises. Let's
yeah.
go for a run. Let's change the program around. Let's tweak
Having
the
that
program. You
fallback
don't have to be
strategy, right?
complete fallback strategies. Don't be so rigid and stubborn with yourself. Oh, I'm going to miss this. Okay, no. You know what? Take a hit that day. Let's roll it on to the next day.
Yeah,
Let's think about the next day and the next day. Don't take a hit and think, oh, I got to stop there. I've ruined it. I've ruined this whole week. No, you haven't. Let's work out how we can tweak this.
yeah,
Let's work out how we can get it all in. But
excellent.
prioritize what are my goals at the end of the week? Well, I know that if if it's strength training, I need to get my push and pull in. I need to get the lower body in. If it's that endurance training, I need to get that long run in. That's not sacrificial. That's it. I have to get that in that week. So it's that for me. It's that pre-planning. You've got to plan.
Yeah,
You've got to make sacrifices
and
wherever you're going
prioritizing.
and prioritizing, mate. And you've got to be on board. And your family and friends have got to be on board.
Yeah. So if there was somebody, let's say, ex-military, sort of ex-sportsman, ex-athlete, somebody that's sort of high performer, that sort of let themselves slip a little bit, let their standards drop, who was considering maybe getting involved in some coaching and they were sitting on the fence, what advice would you give them?
Advice I'd give them is like, who do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be and where do you want to be? Right? Is this you? Is this really you? Is this who you want to be? And if it's not, straight away, here we go. Now we're going to work out a goal. Now we're going to work out, right, let's get a plan together. The advice is if this is what you want to be, this is where you want to go, then let's make a start right now. Get a grip of your life. What does your life look like? My first advice is what does your life look like? Work that out first and foremost. There could be some blockers uh, in your life already. There could be some simple sacrifices you might need to make. Let's make those. So it's planning it ahead. It's not just referring to some 12-week program. My advice to the person is this isn't going to be a short-term win, mate. You're in it for the game. You're in this for 12 months, maybe longer, if
Yeah,
you want to get to where you want to get. You're talking what 12 to 18 months to 2 years. Or in actual fact, there's no end here, mate. This is you now. If you want to take this on right now, this is going to be you for the rest of your
well, that's
life.
just the way it transpires, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
like for you, we started off with 3 months, then 6 months, and here we are, 18
Yeah.
months, 2 years later. And where
No,
does it stop?
it doesn't. There's no time factor anymore. There is no time factor. If you can manage to bake this into your life, if you got to a point where you've created that engine and you've now baked this into your lifestyle, then why stop?
Yeah.
Why would you ever want to stop from that point on? The only thing stopping me is when I become 70, 80 years old and I physically can't get up anymore. Your body is stopping me, physically. That's an aging process. I remember looking at you, I remember chatting to you, I go, so I didn't realize this, age 44. Age 44 is one of those ages, it's apparently a point in your life where your body starts to slow down, starts to degrade at the age of 44. I remember speaking to her, I goes, well, this is bullshit. So this is like, I'm 44 and I'm
We're
like, no,
ramping it up.
this is me. We're ramping it up right now. We're peaking right
This is
now.
where it
And
starts.
so I started, and I'm like, I'm a sub 20-minute 5K in 44, 45 years old. I'm pulling 30 kilograms on a weighted pull up. I'm dipping 50 to 55 kilograms on a weighted dip. These things are like, what, I'm not slowing down. You shouldn't slow down. There's no reason that stigma of being in your 40s and getting older now. It's not a thing. It really isn't. So yeah, they will keep this going. And that person, our advice is, yeah, I think it is that. It's like advice is consistency, but you're going to be consistent for life if you want to take this seriously. It's not just a short-term win. There's the initial things you need to get on board with, like nutrition, prioritization. But once you're started, those things become habit, becomes habitual.
Yeah.
And as soon as you recognize it as a habit rather than an extra, this is something that's extra to my life. It's something I have to do. This is something I have to fit in. No. This is your life now. This is what you have to do now. It's part of your life. It's like, just as important as anything else in your life. Driving to work, doing some work, going home and meeting family, going out. That's part of my life now. Going to the gym is like, identity. Well, that's actually part of it now. It's part of my life. It's not something addition I have to do. No, it's actually baked in.
Yeah.
So,
well, huge credit to you, mate, for making that decision, and it's been my absolute pleasure to have you on board. You are the epitome of what an empowered man is.
That's great, mate. Thank you a lot for your hard work, getting me here as well. It's been a bit of teamwork to get here where we are right now, and it will continue. It's been a pleasure, and I hope it continues.
Thanks a lot.